You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Numbers. They're mysterious and mathematical, and they've been around almost as long as words have. And sometimes you can even use numbers as words, where you can't use words as numbers. That proves the importance numbers have in our society and in the movies. I'm drowning.
Start over.
I was trying to start out deep and important for this special episode of Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. My name's Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. It's draft time, baby.
Man, if you guys are looking for deep, that ain't my list. Ain't got any.
You just stepped in it.
We're talking numerology tonight on KPP. We're doing another top 10 list that might actually
only there's
top
11.
Yeah.
This is one of those crazy drafts we do. And we're just going to get into it. This is going to be movies with numbers in the title and or words spelling numbers in movie titles. Could even have sequels if the number is in the title, but don't expect to see a lot of those. But those are the rules. And other than that, we're pretty lax. So,
as we always say, these aren't the best movies. It's our favorite movies or movies we like. It's not critical consensus. It's Ka-Pow consensus. So, deal with it.
This is the Ka-Pow, a Ka-Pow draft, what we come up with at the end. So, some people are going to get to take turns naming their movies as we count this down. And some of us are going to either accept or reject those picks, depending on what little powers we got. So we predetermined the order of picking your picks. This is going to make sense in a second. There's 3 different choices. Cliff gets to pick first as far as what draft order he gets. So the 3 different choices, Cliff, right? You might want to jot this down so you know what you're picking. Should be similar to previous drafts that the 3 of us did.
Okay.
Column A will get picks 7, 4, and 1. You only get 3 picks, but you get to pick the ultimate number 1 pick, and you get 2 vetoes.
Ooh.
If somebody says a pick along the way, and you don't like it, you can get rid of it. You have that extra veto in column A to try to protect your number 1 pick. That's really to make sure it gets there.
Yeah, just to remind people, if we veto something, like if I veto your pick, I don't get to pick that.
Right. If I say 3 ninjas,
yes, you still get to.
You may veto it, not because you don't want it on the list.
Right.
Maybe you want it higher. Maybe you want to put it later, or maybe you don't want it on the list and you hope nobody puts it there again.
Yeah.
And then that person will get to pick again at that turn.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, column B is picks 9, 8, 5, and 2. They get 4 picks, but they only get 1 veto.
Okay.
And column C is picks 11, 10, 6, and 3. And they get 1 veto and 1 veto override. So that you can't use that veto override. If someone vetoes one of your picks, you can't use the veto override to knock it out, but you can if someone else gets their pick vetoed. You can say, Nope, I agree that movie should have been on there and I'm overriding that.
Okay.
All right. That's about all explaining I'm going to do. You'll figure it out as we go along, or maybe you've heard one of our previous drafts and you already know how this works. But it's going to be a top 11. And Cliff, which column do you want?
I think I am going to choose column B.
B. That's a sweet column there.
Yeah.
So you get picks 9, 8, 5, and 2, and 1 veto. Let's see. What do I want? I'm the second picker here. Wow, I'm gonna have to look at my little list of movies here. Decide what I want. How important is number 1 to me? Not very. I'm gonna go with column C. 11, 10, 6, and 3. 1 veto override. Jordan, you will get column A. You get pick 7, 4, and 1, and you have 2 vetoes.
Okay.
So that means I start, which is right now. So let's see. I'm first. Let's see.
We love movies, folks. We love movies. We love any chance to talk about them. So
we're only comparing these by the fact that they have numbers in the title. So
yeah.
they're
Yeah.
nothing. It's going to be all over the place. So, but this is just for fun. It's kind of in honor of the movie 65 came out. And so that's a movie with numbers in the title. Okay. I'm only going to get to pick 4 times. I want my favorite number movies on here.
This I'm telling you, this is going to be tough for me. I've got a bunch on my list, but I don't know that very many stand out above the rest. I like them all.
Yeah, I got a ton on my list that are just not going to be on here.
Yeah.
So we only got a few movies on here, but we just got to suck it up. So I'm going to go with 25th Hour.
You can't see me being a father?
No. Well, I can see you fathering children. I can see you raising any.
I would raise my own chalupas.
Well, we're definitely not having any kids together if you're going to be calling them chalupas.
It's probably your mother.
You have the worst timing ever.
Montgomery broken in? I'm Agent Flood with the Drug Enforcement Administration.
Everything's gotten so strange, Bob. The only people I trust are you and guys I grew up with.
What do we say to him?
We'll say nothing. He's going to hell for 7 years. What am I going to do? Wish him luck? Champagne for my real friends, and real pain for my sham friends.
Can't believe you brought my student in here.
You haven't done anything wrong yet.
What do you mean yet?
She's the only girl I've ever kept fantasizing about after I slept with her. Is that normal? That's a pretty good kind of normal.
We haven't talked about this at all. You know, this is our last night.
It's not our last night. My last night. I watched him ruin his life. The last 10 years, I've been watching him get deeper and deeper. I look at these people around me, and I'm thinking, these are my friends? I don't even know these people.
He doesn't trust me.
What reason does he have not to trust you?
This is Spike Lee joint, as they say, from 2002 with Edward Norton, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Barry Pepper, Rosario Dawson, Anna Paquin, Brian Cox. It's just tons of people. And I remember seeing this the first time. It just blew my mind. Like the secret throughout the movie. What Edward Norton is getting his friends together for one night, and he has a favor to ask. He needs Barry Pepper to do him a favor. And you're like, what does he want? The whole movie. It's so well done. I miss Philip Seymour Hoffman. Every time a movie comes out that I think has something that's up his alley, I'm like, man, I wonder if he would have played this role. Like, there's so many things we're missing out on from him. But
yeah, he's definitely.
I love this movie. I got the poster hanging on my living room wall. I got 6 movie posters in my living room. One of them is The 25th Hour. You guys like this movie? It's a very post 9/11 movie. Like, it is very New York. Spike Lee is famously a New York icon, and there's just it deals with a little bit of that, but it's not overwhelming.
I've just seen it once, and I remember liking it, but I don't remember the details well enough to have a real strong opinion about it.
I have no idea what this is.
Well, it's been a while. He's basically a criminal, or he's gotten some trouble, Edward Norton, just gets with a bunch of his friends. I really don't want to spoil it at all. It's really great. I remember seeing it and feeling like I was seeing something special. I'd never heard anybody talk about it, and I just wanted, which you always like a movie more if you kind of discover it yourself and just fall in love with it unexpectedly. And I've watched it many, many times since. The ending is a great ending that really makes you think what is going to happen, where does it go from here. But I like the mystery of what is he wanting from his friends that night. So the way we deal with vetoes and using your powers, Cliff had the advantage of picking a row first, but now he is at the disadvantage for the rest of the game. He has to choose first whether he uses his veto or not. So, Cliff, would you like to veto that pick at number 11?
No, I'm not wasting it on number 11 on a movie I haven't seen.
That's not even in the top 10.
Yeah.
Come on.
No.
I'm going to waste it on that.
Nobody's even going to remember what number 11 was.
Exactly.
The annals
even
of
though
history. Number 11.
Everyone will at least, more people are going to hear number 11 than they are number 1, though. What about you, Jordan? You got a problem with 25th hour?
Veto that from me.
All right. So on to number 10. Guess whose turn it is? Mine. I pick again here. Let's see. I'm really worried about what's going to make this list. I wanted that on there, but I wasn't too attached to it being super high. I guess I hate that this movie, though, I'm going to have this low. Ugh. Wow. This is tough, guys.
Yeah, I always feel like on a lot of these lists, somehow I end up picking like 10 or 11, towards the bottom of the list quite a bit at first, kind of starting things off, and I'm always nervous about those ones down there. Like, ooh,
well, because we don't know what other people are going to pick,
right.
And if you get vetoed something, you have to pick something else. Then you may have lost that one.
Yeah.
Are you going to have something better to pick later, where you could have had this? I am going to, and I know that Jordan knows the things that I would pick, so I feel like he won't pick them, and I'm obligated to pick them, which sucks. He gets to get all crazy and just do whatever the hell he wants.
I'm a wild card. You don't know what's coming.
Oh, he doesn't feel any pressure to put any of these on there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel zero pressure about any of this.
Wow. If you don't feel pressured, then we need to get somebody else in here. This is supposed to be.
Well, I say that
pressure.
now. Wait, give us an hour. We get to the top of this list. I'm going to be biting pencils in there.
Sweating.
All right. At least it'll be in the top 10. I'm going to say 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Dave, do you mind if I ask you a personal question?
No, not at all.
I've wondered whether you might be having some second thoughts about the mission.
How do you mean?
Rumors about something being dug up on the moon. I never gave these stories much credence, but particularly in view of some of the other things that have happened, I find them difficult to put out of my mind.
Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal. Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What are you talking about, Hal?
This conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
Uh, 1968, Stanley Kubrick. Still holds up. Amazing movie. 5 stars. I don't know what to say. Like,
I think I've only seen it once.
I mean, it's so, you know, you got Hal, got Dave. I don't know what else you need.
It's got
you know?
Ric Flair's
it's
entrance music. That was for Jesse.
Yeah, I just freaking love this. I took my son. They re-released it a few years ago. 35 millimeter. Took him. We got to see it on the big screen, and that was special. And I just, of course, love the music. I love the pace. I like where it goes. I love all the monolith stuff. We famously, I still remember years ago. Now, at your previous location, Jordan finding the Cheez-It monolith in his Cheez-It box.
It was like 8
just
all stuck together. Yeah, it was
just a great classic space movie showing the different stages in time, how they've dealt with finding this monolith and how maybe it progressed to the next phase of civilization. And I don't know. There's a lot of analysis done on this movie, and I really dig it.
Okay.
So, Cliff, what do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's definitely I would say a monumental piece of film. Came out after. Did it come out after Star Wars? In that whole everything's got to be a space movie.
No,
it was before.
No, this is the one that everybody ripped off. This is 68.
68. Okay, that makes more sense. But yeah, like I said, I think I've only seen it once. I mean, it's
that's the movie George Lucas wished he had made, and
right.
was sad that he made a kids movie instead.
So yeah, I'm not going to veto it. I expected it to be on the list somewhere. I just didn't.
Yeah, I would have liked it higher, but I didn't get the picks I wanted. I wanted B.
Sorry.
Anyway, okay, so moving on.
I got some vetoes.
Yeah.
Oh no! Go ahead, veto it. I'm just kidding.
This isn't my favorite. We've talked about it before. I appreciate it. I understand it. I know its place in pop culture. I've seen it several times, but I've never in my life felt like I really wanted to watch it. Like, oh, I got to watch 2001. Like, it's just never drawn me in that way. I appreciate it more than I enjoy watching it, and I understand it. Stone Cold classic for sure. And it's numbers, so it deserves to be on this list. So I would never veto 2001.
It has a number. How can you argue with that?
Yeah,
it's mostly numbers.
All right, now looks like Cliff's got a couple picks coming up here. So at number 9. We got there, Cliffy.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. No, I was just sitting here like this whole time, just like debating, like, oh my gosh, what the heck should I pick? I have no idea, because I have a whole bunch of movies that I like that fit into this list, and I really don't know where to start. There are certain things I feel like, you know, I would want to be on the list, but again, I feel like a certain kind of way that you guys may not pick any of the movies I have on the list. So where do I start? Number 9 is I'm gonna agree with my wife and daughter, because I was reading off this list to them the other night when you first mentioned it, and I had jotted some, you know, immediately what had come to mind, and they both reminded me how important this movie has become in our family's holiday traditions. And you guys know I love Christmas movies. That is a genre of movies that I just absolutely adore. And when we find one, when we sink our hooks into one, we will watch it over and over and over every holiday season. So, but we got to pick one that's got a number in it, and I'm going to choose 4 Christmases.
Oh my God.
Hey, Dad.
Mom, hey.
Listen, Mom, I got bad news. We're not going to be able to make it
It's
tomorrow.
me.
No one was more upset than we were last year that she got into a happy
We're not
and
gonna
deal with
make
the
it tomorrow for
situation.
Christmas.
Every year, Brad and Kate spend the holidays avoiding their families.
No flights are coming in and no flights are going out.
This isn't happening. Do you have a sister airline?
No, I'm sorry. How about a cousin airline?
No, we don't.
How about like an airline that your airline's felt up before?
But this year,
Where are you headed for the holidays?
they'll be forced to celebrate
Hi, Mom.
It's my dad.
They just saw us on the news.
with all of them.
Okay, he's gonna give you a big hug when he sees you, Mom.
I'm not hugging anybody.
He's very excited about the hug.
From New Line Cinema,
We just got to get through these 4 Christmases as quickly and as painlessly as possible.
Merry Christmas, Mom. Hey, Dad.
Good to see you, Mom. Merry Christmas, Dad. Hey, these are my brothers, Denver and Dallas.
You must be Orlando's girl.
Orlando?
We're all named after the cities that we were conceived in.
That's disgusting.
Oh, my God.
4 families.
Bradley, I'm not trying to be your father. I'm hoping for a chance to be your friend.
Well, you were my friend. You were my best friend. But now you're sleeping with my mom, and it's a little bit weird for me.
One day,
That's you?
Mom, did you put that on the mantle?
I love that photo.
You look huge.
I ate my feelings, Brad.
She must have had a lot of bad feelings.
I just got to adjust it. Hold the damn thing. Too much.
is an exit strategy. Vince Vaughn, Reese Witherspoon,
Hello. Did Jags and projectile?
Tell me about it.
4 Christmases.
You gotta get out of here. I can't breathe. I'm gonna do it too.
You are a wild
I thought
card.
maybe Miracle at 42nd. What is it? 42nd Street. I thought that's
No.
Exactly. Like, I wouldn't.
No.
I wish that he would have said that.
No, not A Miracle on 34th Street, because we don't normally watch A Miracle on 34th Street throughout the holidays. But
What did I
we
say?
sure as heck.
42nd Avenue? I didn't even know
Yeah, you weren't even
what movie we're talking about. Well, what is this movie? 4 Christmases. I can't even picture.
This-
Is that
This is
It's
the
a Vince Vaughn or something.
Classic.
oh,
Classic.
It's
Okay.
got Mary replaying scenes in my head. From Legally Blonde. My gosh, Reese Witherspoon. They play a couple, and every Christmas they go on vacation to avoid their families for a reason. And it just so happens their cruise gets canceled this particular year, and they are forced to visit their families. And you know, being a sign of the times, that both their parents are divorced or separated. They have 4 Christmases. They have, they have.
We got it.
2 with his parents, 2 with her parents, and their families. So
when do the Cranks show up?
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
so much better than the Cranks.
They're one of the families, Jordan. One of the families is the Cranks. Got the Griswolds.
We got Tim McGraw and Jon Favreau. Everybody loves them, right? They play Vince Vaughn's brothers. You've got Orlando.
Oh, yeah. It's a
Dallas
swingers
and
reunion.
Denver. Yeah, Dallas and Denver. They are MMA fighters, and it's got a great cast. It's got Mary Steenburgen, and it has a whole other bunch of people in it that I cannot remember their names. But no, it really is. It's just one of those things that the jokes get funnier every year, every time we watch the movie, and we watch it multiple times, especially my wife and daughter. But it's just dealing with your family at Christmas, and we all can relate to that and how insane they can be, and the stupid family
like most
traditions.
Christmas movies.
Yeah.
It's like most Christmas movies. It's
Except
like
there's
most
a jump and
middle of the road Christmas movie.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Upper middle of the road. I'll give you that. Maybe I don't know. I think I saw it once.
That's why it's at the bottom
point.
of the list. It's not all the way to the top, but man, this is a special one in our house.
Well, I am not gonna, because you're so unpredictable and have multiple picks yet. I only have one veto. I can't waste it on 4 Christmases. Otherwise, maybe I would. How you feel about that, Jordan?
I haven't seen
that one. Vetoes.
I haven't seen that one, but if it means a lot to your family, it's a personal favorite. I can't judge personal favorites because we all love movies.
He's going to say that about all of them.
Well, he won me over. It's Christmas cheer.
I'll remember that when I go.
On the list.
Oh yeah. Cliff, what else you got? Number 8.
Oh, yes, I do have 8. Oh, my goodness. How do we follow that up?
Yeah. We're all on the edge of our seats to find out what's next.
I bet you are.
I'm sorry I spoiled 3 Ninjas as a potential.
Oh, never. I hate those movies. Talk about
There's more than one?
Oh, yeah. There's a whole slew of those damn things.
There was 2 ninjas at one point?
Oh, the 3 ninjas, they do all kinds of stuff.
Ninjas knuckle up, 3 ninjas on Splash Mountain or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I have no idea. Okay. Number 8. Let's find another movie that's fun.
Right.
That I feel like I'm gonna push it a little bit, maybe with you guys, but let's go with. This is so hard for me. How do we feel about?
While you're thinking, I'm gonna go ahead and let people know we discussed beforehand. Like, there's not gonna be any. There's not gonna be a Star Wars or Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Those when they came out, they didn't have numbers on them.
Yeah.
So they may now, but they didn't then. So we're not counting those. So don't expect them to show up on the list.
Probably not. Oh man, I hate to do this to you guys, but how do you feel about the 40-Year-Old Virgin?
It's got a number in it.
It's got a number.
I feel better about it than 4 Christmases.
I want you so bad.
Over the years,
Did you glue this?
I wish I had some scissors.
Andy Stitzer has lost a lot of girlfriends.
I'm sorry.
But there's one thing he never lost.
Are you a virgin?
Oh, you are hilarious. This is good.
You're a virgin!
How can you go 40 years and not have sex? I just kind of stopped trying.
We gotta help the man. We cannot let you go on being a virgin. Sorry. You gotta highlight your attributes. Just wax that whole Teen Wolf thing off.
No! Kelly Clarkson! Help! I hate you! Stop smiling!
You look like a man-o'-lantern. The problem most men have is they don't know how to talk to women.
What am I supposed to say?
Nothing. Just ask questions.
Are you looking for something?
Is there something I should be looking for?
We have a great section of do-it-yourself.
Do you like to do it yourself? What am I talking about?
gotta go somewhere where every girl is looking for a guy.
Welcome to Date-A-Palooza!
I'm Andy, and you are Gina?
Gina. Well, what's up?
Okay. I like your shirt.
You have kind eyes. You want to get out of here? Do you think I'm pretty?
Whoa, whoa!
Look at me! Look at me!
Got Steve Carell. This was kind of his breakout hit, I think. Came out right after he started on The Office. And, kind of made a little, helped in the career of Seth Rogen and Paul Rudd. And it's just, it's a comedy. It's a raunchy comedy. But, man, if it's on, there's a good chance I'm going to stop and watch a good, a little bit of this movie. If not.
It has been a long time since I've seen it. I mean, it's a in its time, it was the biggest comedy, in that couple of years there. That was a huge success. Kelly Clarkson is more famous because of that movie. Yeah, I remember liking that movie. That's good.
Yeah.
And this kind of cemented Judd Apatow and his brand of comedy.
Right.
And for the next decade.
Yes.
He had the clout in Hollywood to make these kind of movies and
kind of using those same actors in a lot of those movies. And
yes, I have not seen that one in a while.
Yeah,
it's a good one. Good job.
This was actually in my top 10.
Sweet.
Nice.
On this list.
Nice.
So, yeah, I agree with you. If it's on TV, I at least flip past and see what scene it is. And it made Steve Carell a star, and there's a good reason for that.
It's about a guy who has spent his life collecting comics and toys and movie posters and playing video games and online poker, and who cannot relate to that listens to this podcast?
All right. Sounds like nobody's vetoing that. Moving on to we're a little more precious the higher we get, though. I feel like we get a little higher, we're gonna want can't just put anything on there. But we I think both of you guys had that in your top 10, so there it is, and that works out great. At pick number 7, we get Jordan's first pick for the list here.
I didn't have as many as Cliff seems to have had, but I came up with a top 10. But I only really ranked the top 5 because I knew I'd only have a couple of picks, and here I am with only 3. So I don't even need a top 5 probably. So I'm going to go ahead and skip a movie you vetoed on my time travel. I tried to get it into the time travel bracket. You guys vetoed it, so I'm going to skip that.
Ooh,
because if it's not good enough, 12 Monkeys. If it's not good enough for, if 12 Monkeys is not a good enough time travel movie, then surely you won't think it's a good enough number movie.
I don't know. Maybe it's better than other number movies.
So I'm going to go right to. Let's just go to my number 3. I've only got 3 picks. And I don't know. I don't think either of you guys like this movie as much as the rest of the world and me. But for pick 7, I'm going to say The Fifth Element.
When the 3 planets are in eclipse, the black hole like a door is open. Evil comes, spreading terror and chaos, but to exterminate life, all forms of life.
So what you're telling me, Father, there's nothing that can stop.
4 elements gathered around a fifth, the supreme being, the ultimate warrior. Created to protect life. Then light turns to dark, life to death, forever.
I want your best man to go undercover.
I have the perfect one. It's nice to see you again, Father. Where are the snowmen? I don't know. And even if I did know, I wouldn't tell somebody like you. Divine language, the ancient language, spoken throughout the universe before time was time. You bring me what I asked you for. Evil begets evil, Mr. President. What is your name?
Luminale che t'arriva alla mina c'è e batte se bat.
Good.
Major Dallas, you've been selected for a mission of the utmost importance.
What mission?
Save the world.
Go to the Vigo, collect the stones, and meet me at the temple.
Send someone to negotiate.
1997 sci-fi spectacular from Luc Besson, the director. He started writing it when he was 16 years old, sitting in his bedroom, coming up with wacky ideas and crazy sci-fi concepts. So it's a movie he's wanted to make literally his entire life. Finally had the Hollywood budget to do it, and it's wild. It's colorful. That's everything he said. He was sick of sci-fi that was all shadows and dark corners. So he lit everything broad daylight, colorful costumes, bigger than life villains, super quotable. Yeah. Bruce Willis is a 23rd century taxi driver, Corbin Dallas, former special forces soldier who has to rescue a young woman named Lilu, played by Mila Jovovich, who is the only defense against a cosmic entity about to destroy the planet. Good performances supporting by Gary Oldman, Chris Tucker, Ian Holm. People love this movie. I don't think you guys have as strong an opinion on it, but yeah, you can't go to a Comic-Con without seeing a cosplayer in, Lilu wig.
Cliff?
I've never known how to feel about this movie. Like, I think it just kind of confuses me.
Oh, it makes no sense. That's fine.
Like, I've never hated the movie, but I've never really liked the movie either. I don't know how to feel about it.
I remember the first time I saw this, I freaking loved it. I just was like, it was one of those, I just didn't know what I was getting into and loved the concept. I thought she was incredible. Like, still the best thing she's ever done. Like, just great performance. Bruce Willis is fun. Everybody's fun in it. It's wacky, crazy. It's like, it's such a 90s sci-fi.
Yeah, it is.
Mishmash thing. And I've watched it, several times since, but it's been a while. And, it loses a little of its, luster with each watching. But I think it's been long enough now that I feel like nostalgic to watch it again. Like, it's been so long. I remember loving it the first time I saw it. And I'm, never... It's never lost too much with me, but it's not one of my favorite movies, but I always felt positively about it.
And
how confused are you?
A quote from that movie will pop into my head pretty much daily. Lilu Dallas multipass. She knows it's a multipass. She says chicken. Every time I eat chicken, I think chicken.
There's another chicken quote you think. You've mentioned another chicken quote that you think of every time you eat chicken.
Oh, I eat a lot of chicken. I need multiple movies for how much chicken I eat.
There's something with Samuel L. Jackson or something.
I got to get some chicken in me.
It's like, this is the second time you've come up with a chicken quote.
Yeah,
Cliff, how you feel about it?
I'm not going to veto it, but
we watch it every Christmas.
Exactly. I was just getting ready to say, you didn't mention your family enough.
Yeah.
My brothers and I we will quote this movie back and forth to each other. We all
have
watched it way too much.
Just a lot
I think you would take some.
Aziz,
I think you would take some heat, Cliff. Cliff would probably take some heat for knocking this one off the list.
I feel that way, yeah. Okay.
All right. At number 7, The Fifth Element. Great pick. Number 6. My second to last pick out here at number 6. Oh, I'm going to look at my list here.
This is the end of the bottom half of the list.
Wow. Really minimizing this pick.
Nobody's trying to veto yet. We're almost halfway through.
Oh, see, here's the conundrum. I only have one pick in the top 5. You guys each have 2. I feel like Jordan values my number 1 enough for it to be in the top 5, but I don't know. I guess I don't know if he would pick either of my top 2. That's what I'm thinking. So I guess I have to pick one of them, which sucks. I'm just gonna go ahead and pick this. This is my number 2, I would say. But this is at number 6. It's Kill Bill Volume 1.
The incident that happened at the Two Pines wedding chapel that put this whole gory story into motion has since become legend.
That woman deserves her revenge, and we deserve to die.
I've killed a hell of a lot of people to get to this point, and I am gonna kill Bill.
Before this tale of bloody revenge reaches its climax, there's a few unanswered questions. If Jaime doesn't kill you, he will make you stronger. He shot you in the head. There are consequences to breaking the heart of a killer.
Pretty cool, huh?
She's coming to kill you.
You see, Cutter went through 88 bodyguards.
No, there wasn't really 88 of them. They just called themselves the Crazy 88.
How come?
I don't know. I guess they thought it sounded cool.
This is Quentin Tarantino. It's who I love most of his movies. This is just so good. Uma Thurman as the bride on a revenge
Beatrice
tour. Yep, going after Bill, looking for Bill, and having to fight through a bunch of lackeys along the way.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. It's so good. Starts from the beginning. It is great, and all the way through. That fight with Vivica Fox is amazing. It's just an action classic. It's so quotable. Like I love everything about it. One of my favorite movies. It's a top 20 all-time movie for me, so it has to be on my numbers list.
I love the Kill Bill movies. However, I would have never considered either one of those movies for this list.
I'm on the same page. I'm not a fan. Like we said, sequels, it's hard to... Every movie can have a number after it if it's a sequel, and this is...
Well, I honestly do not think we're going to end up with a movie on this list that says part 2 or something like that. You know what I mean?
Maybe if the eyes were the number 1, it was like K1LL, B1LL. Like,
I don't know. This is the title, Kill Bill Volume 1. It could have just said Kill Bill, and then there was part 2 later or whatever. This was initially Volume 1. Veto it if you don't like it.
The spirit of the list, I feel, it's a little iffy on the spirit of the list.
Wow.
Maybe we have different views of what the spirit is.
That's why you have vetoes.
Yeah. He's going to pick Kill Bill Volume 2. Yeah, I am feeling you, Jordan. Like I said, I can't knock the movie.
Yeah, the movie's great.
But a man's got to have rules.
Live by a code.
I made the rules.
The code is made of numbers.
I am going to defer to Jordan and however he feels here, he does have 2 vetoes. I only have 1. So I'm going to take a risk here and leave it up to him.
Well, again, I hate to kick something off the list that's in your top 20 of all time. Like it's a favorite movie. I don't want to.
I got other movies. You're not going to break my heart
in such a way.
No, if you guys feel like this list, the rules I came, you have a different vision for this list than what I initially conceived. If you feel like this does not meet your criteria, then by all means veto.
I will use a veto, and I'm sure you have a plan to jujitsu your way to have something even cooler on the list. So I will trust you with a veto.
I got lots of movies here.
Okay.
Okay, so Jordan has used one of his vetoes. He has vetoed Kill Bill Volume 1 because they don't feel like that's the spirit of the list. So nobody better put anything on there.
So nobody better tell me 5th isn't actually a number either.
Right.
Hey, Robin, you should have never pointed that out to me.
It's got a 5 in it.
5, yeah. You can write it out.
Is Beethoven? Was it one of Beethoven movies?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I use it? Well, let's see then. What am I going to put here? Definitely not going to put my number 1 here. It's got to be in the top 5.
Number 6. Wow. I like it.
Dang. See, there's movies that I have ranked higher. This is kind of the problem with knowing you have a top 100. Like I have a top 100 and things are in certain places. So I don't feel as loose about picking something lower, but there's, you know what I mean? I don't know.
But to me, like we mentioned the time travel thing, like I could see, I love this movie, but this is probably a better time travel movie. Like I could see having some wiggle room on your list.
Right.
Like, but this,
I do have wiggle room
to this. Yeah.
I do have wiggle room on this.
This has more numbers in the title than this other one, so it deserves to be higher.
Yeah, I'm going to reach down a little bit for a movie just because I don't think I'll ever. There's only we do a lot of these drafts. There's only so many times that we had an opportunity to get some of these movies on the list. Like I didn't know if I was going to be able to get 4 Christmases on this list, and luckily Cliff took care of that for me.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
I'm going to pick one that basically I don't know anybody that likes it, and I love it. It's a Nick Cage classic, 8mm.
I was afraid he was going to pick this movie at somewhere on this list.
Joel Schumacher directed 1999, probably the greatest movie year ever.
The mortgage, Cindy's college money. If I do right by Mrs. Christian, the circle she runs in, this could be the break we've been waiting for. Can't take longer than a couple of weeks. That's all I can tell you, honey. Sometimes you can't know what I'm doing. It's better that way.
It's always that way.
You come highly recommended, Mr. Wells. You're praised for your discretion.
Thank you, ma'am.
As you know, my husband passed away recently.
Yes.
My husband was the only one with the combination to this safe. These were my husband's private things. I didn't realize.
Do you want to tell me what you found, Mrs. Christian?
Private Detective Tom Wells is one of the only people who has seen it. It is 8mm wide. It runs at 16 frames per second. And he has been hired to discover.
All I want is to know that this atrocity is false. I want the proof of it.
If what's on it is real.
Finding the guys who made this film is going to be very difficult. I need information. I thought you might be able to help.
And it's about, he's doing an investigation about snuff films, and it's got this mysterious bad guy, La Machine, and it's just creepy, and I don't know. I just it's kind of a dreadful movie. He's trying to search and find out if this girl in this snuff film is alive or dead, if it was real or not. And there's a lot of twists and turns. I remember just the feeling of him having to face this guy, this guy that was dressed up in like this bondage mask and was mysterious who he was, that he was, this so dangerous looking, and like, and James Gandolfini, I think, is in this, and Joaquin Phoenix. I just really dig it. It's just got a dark vibe, but it's one of my favorite Nick Cage movies, and I love the ending. That's very important to me as a good ending. But again, if you guys don't dig it, don't want it on your list, this has to be something that we all kind of like some of these movies. So, but that's what I'm going with. 8 millimeter.
Jordan, have you seen this movie?
I don't think I have. I saw Snake Eyes. Is that a different movie?
That's a different movie.
Yeah, that's a different, not good movie.
Yeah.
I know I've seen Snake Eyes, but I don't think I've seen 8 millimeter.
I have seen this movie. I remember
this is the extremely not a Cliff movie. I can't even believe
you could not be more correct. We went to the theater and saw this movie, and
you guys don't watch this every Christmas.
No. Oh, I can't explain how much I did not like this movie.
Yeah. Well, I would say this, like, this is
I like
just,
Kill Bill.
Yeah, well, that's that's a fun movie. This is not a fun movie.
No, I don't understand why anybody ever made this movie.
You have to admit that you have a taste that is
absolutely
much more feel good. You are wanting to have a feel good time.
Yes.
Almost every movie that you accept.
You are correct.
As qualifying as a good movie.
Yeah, and
it can never be bad.
I'm
a
afraid,
bad thing happening.
I'm afraid what else he could pick here. And he's got one more pick after this. So I'm going to save that veto, and just sit here in the corner by myself and try not to think about this movie.
Well, I'm not going to double veto it, so that's...
Oh, my
gosh. Okay, that was an option.
Oh,
all right. Gosh. Cliff, you got pick 5.
Oh, thank God.
We're in the top 5 now. You guys each have 2 picks in the top 5.
Oh. All right. I don't know how, at this point in time, how you guys still feel about this movie, but I'm going to choose it for my number 5. At least for the moment. 16 Candles.
So, what's the story? You got a guy or?
Yes, 3 big ones, and they went blood.
Her name is Samantha Baker, and today is her 16th birthday.
Fred, she's gotten her boobies.
Oh, I'd better go get my magnifying glass.
They forgot my birthday. Classic. This is the single worst day of my entire life.
Universal Pictures presents...
Score, a direct hit.
16 Candles.
You say it's your birthday. It's my birthday too.
The story of a girl who's stuck with a guy who's driving her crazy.
Nice manners, babe.
And stuck on a guy she's crazy about.
Who's Jake?
Jake Ryan?
Jake's my boy.
Jake is a senior, and he's beautiful and perfect.
He doesn't even know you exist. He smiles at me and I don't say anything. Can't believe I'm such a jerk.
You quit feeling sorry for yourself. It's bad for your complexion.
You know Samantha Baker?
Catch her looking at me a lot. It's kind of cool the way she's always looking at me.
Maybe she's retarded.
What's happening, hot stuff?
His name is Long Duck Dong.
Nothing could shock me anymore.
Underpants. Can I borrow your underpants for 10 minutes?
Girls' underpants. Hate that rock and roll rubbish.
Everybody in this family has just gone totally outer limits.
The Molly Ringwald teenage classic 1980s Anthony Michael Hall, John Cusack, she's turning 16 and everybody's in town.
John Cusack has a very small role.
He's in it.
John Hughes is a good pull.
Yeah. But everybody comes in.
Nick Cage is also in this too, if I recall.
Is that right? Was he?
For sure.
No, I don't even think about that other movie. This is the big sister is getting married, and all the grandparents come in town for the wedding, and everybody forgets it's Molly Ringwald's 16th birthday.
It's just like Home Alone.
Yeah.
Precursor.
So, it's a wild, adventurous night, and going to the school dance, and she runs in. Grandma and Grandpa bring Long Duck Dong home, and he gets drunk and crazy, and says funny things like automobile, and
how many cancels do you get, Jordan? You got
16
one
cancels.
veto, and how many 16 cancels.
But yeah, it's she's a 16-year-old girl, and she has a crush on an older boy, but he's got a girlfriend, and she's terrible, and they all go to a party and destroy the
That guy
house.
was that guy ever in anything else?
I don't
Jake.
think so.
I know his name was Jake in the movie, and
yes, Jake. Yes, I don't think. I think his career began and ended with 16 Candles. But yeah, it's a movie that anyone our age grew up on, and just
Jake Ryan.
What's that?
Jake Ryan.
Jake Ryan. So yeah, how do you guys still feel about 16 Candles?
it's been a while.
Okay.
I loved it back in the day. That was, I was a teenager, and I loved it. I loved Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah.
You just knew he was going to be a star. After that, it was so funny at the time, and it's of course it has not aged well, but a lot of those 80s fun teenage movies haven't aged well.
Absolutely. Different time.
The way they treated women and things. But she has got a lot of agency in that movie, and I think at least that holds up. The Long Duck Dong stuff does not.
Yeah.
That's just doesn't work anymore. But I still say automobile in my head all the time. If I see the word, that is how it is pronounced in my head, and I think, don't say it out loud.
Yeah. Right.
Like that. That's how I read it on the page. That's how much of an effect that had on me.
Yes.
40 years ago. It's just like it's in my brain that way. Like it imprinted on me. And there's nothing from Four Christmases that did that. So I will not.
Man.
I'm not going to have any part of vetoing this, which I think is part of your plan. You're like, start low, and then if I just put anything reasonable in here, there's no way they're going to touch it.
Right.
So I personally am not going to veto this because I have nostalgia for it, and it's it
definitely there is nostalgia for it. I feel the same way, and that's why I picked it.
I think we're all grown up enough to know what was good about it, what doesn't work anymore, but it's still there was a lot of fun had watching this movie back in the day. We were all going through our growing pains, and so that's what we were at,
Yeah.
Watching that at the time, you just kind of reflects on your real life and things like going through high school, all the crazy antics. And I got news for you people. This is what it was like. And I went to high school in the 80s and it was ridiculous, stupid parties and people doing stupid stuff just like this. What about you, Jordan?
Michael Scheffling played Jake Ryan.
Wow.
Okay.
He's also known for Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken, Vision Quest, and Mermaids. And announced his retirement in 1991. So he is no longer active.
That was quick.
Yeah. He got in and got out.
Quick.
I had no antics. I don't think I've ever seen this movie.
Wow.
I was wondering if you had.
Okay.
I know everything that happens in it. I know all the quotes and everything, but I honestly don't think I ever got to them.
I would recommend it.
It's the way you said that, just stoically, like you're the sophisticated movie reviewer. I would recommend this. This
absolutely
piece.
Not that 2001. You want to watch a classic film? John Hughes, 16 Candles.
Yeah, I like it. Good pick. Why not? Okay, Jordan, you have the number 4 best number movie ever.
That's not fun. Because that's high. That's real high.
That's really high. Better be good.
Real high on the list. And again, I don't know that either of you like this movie, but I do. So I'm gonna say 1998 debut film from Guy Ritchie, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
If you can't see value here today, you're not up here shopping, you're up here shoplifting.
Bacon.
Did you say £10? That's a bargain, I'll take one.
Eddie.
You two, join me in my office.
Fat Man.
Oi!
Soap. 4 friends.
That's my 25 grand.
With a money-making scheme.
You sure you can afford 25? I can afford it as long as I see it again.
That's quick.
You playing cards tonight, son? With Harry?
Easy.
Oh, don't be silly, Dad.
And very expensive.
I'll see you. For $500,000? All right, don't panic. 4 young fellas got in deeper than they could handle. I am panicking. They owe me £500,000.
I'm going to give you 1 week to find it.
Let me tell you about that shit, Harry. If Harry don't kill you, then your father will.
I've got a plan. How heavy are these fellas?
Hit them as soon as they come back. We'll be prepared, waiting.
We're on.
Right, where was we?
Guns for show.
Nice for a crew.
God knows how much of this stinking weight. Is this a declaration of war? A shitload of cash.
One's responsible for this torture.
And a traffic order.
British director Guy Ritchie. First film. There were 44 speaking parts in this movie, and 17 of them were people who had never acted before. So it was very amateur, very cheap, seat of their pants. Debut films from Jason Statham and Vinnie Jones. It was their first movie as well. So it's about a group of friends in London who are on the sketchier side of things, running cons, loopholes, all that fun stuff. Running scams and cons. Card player loses £500,000 to a powerful crime lord in a rigged game of cards. There's no way he's going to pay off this debt in a week, so he and his friends decide to rob a small-time gang who happen to be operating out of the flat next door. This movie has an energy to it. It has the snappiest dialogue, all this British slang being thrown around, the editing, the music, the quick cuts. I hadn't seen anything like this before when Guy Ritchie debuted, and I thought this was the next Tarantino, this was the next whoever. He's made some good movies, but he's never topped this first one. I had such high hopes for what he was going to do next, but To me, it never got better than this one. I don't know if you guys have any nostalgia for this one at all, but I adored this movie when it came out in 1998.
I know this is a real movie.
I didn't make it up.
Period.
Yes.
I know this is a real movie.
That is what I know.
You want it in your top 5 of all time numbers movies? I remember liking this movie. I wasn't head over heels about it. I never was head over heels about any of Guy Ritchie's movies that I can think of off the top of my head. I've always thought they were fine, but it just felt like it wasn't exactly my thing. Mm-hmm. I do remember thinking this one was. I've always felt ever since this one that everything was a disappointment after from him. Like it progressively went downhill, and everybody's just like, did he ever string together anything? I know like Snatched was reasonably big.
Snatch was really good, but it just wasn't.
I remember thinking Rock and Roller was okay. But yeah, never rewatched this. I don't really remember hardly anything about it.
Yeah. This is the number 4 pick. I am going to take a risk here because I got a whole bunch of movies on my list, and I'm hoping Jordan's got at least one of them.
Oh, I got another one you've never seen or heard of.
And that's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm
He's trying to psych you out, Cliff. Don't listen to him.
I am going to veto number 4 and cross my fingers.
All right. Cliff has used his one veto to veto Jordan. So Jordan suddenly got another pick here. He gets to put a new number 4.
All right. 12 Monkeys might just make the list.
All right. I would prefer that. It would work out. I was thinking.
Let's do it. 12 Monkeys. I love that movie just as much. 12 Monkeys. Terry Gilliam, 1995.
You're a very good observer, Cole.
We have a very advanced program, something very different.
An opportunity to reduce your sentence considerably.
And possibly play an important role in returning the human race to the surface of the Earth.
No license, no prints, no warrants. But he took on 5 cops like he was dusted to the eyeballs.
What year is this?
What year do you think it is?
1996.
That's the future, James. Do you think you're living in the future?
I'm simply trying to gather information to help the people in the present trace the path of the virus.
We're not in the present now.
This is a place for crazy people.
I'm not saying you're not mentally ill. For all I know, you're crazy as a loon.
The army of the 12 monkeys, they're the ones that spread the virus.
Monkeys.
You've been living in a meticulously constructed fantasy world, and that world is starting to disintegrate.
You haven't become addicted to that dying world?
No, sir.
He needs help.
I think I'm crazy when people start dying next month. I don't belong here.
You're here because of the system.
I know some things that you don't know.
Yes, my son.
You sent me to the wrong year. You're certain of that?
Science ain't an exact science.
You had a bullet from World War I in your leg, James. How did it get there?
I don't know.
You're a trained psychiatrist. You know the difference between what's real and what's not.
You said that I had delusions. You said you could explain.
I'm trying to.
I want the future to be unknown.
I can help you. Get you out.
I was not expecting him to actually do
that. You talked me into it.
Well, there you go. I like that movie. It is.
Time travel movie. It's
which we love.
Post-apocalyptic future. Some deadly unknown disease has destroyed the world, and Bruce Willis is a convict they have sent back in time to investigate the origin and figure out what happened and if we can change it in the future. So it's all about memory and how memories affect reality and your perception, and can you change the past and can you not? And it's just it's weird and it's heady and it's ugly and grimy, and I love it. It's got Madeline Stowe, Brad Pitt in an Oscar-nominated performance, Christopher Plummer, David Morse, just clunky, grimy, weird sci-fi
with some cool designs. Yeah, some of the costumes and things. I dig this movie. It's very super 90s sci-fi. It's
I feel
a little
better.
dark.
I feel better about this one.
Yeah, it's a little dark. This isn't a Cliff movie, but yeah, I'm sure you like it better than that. I'm a fan of 12 Monkeys. It just didn't make it on the time travel list because there's so many freaking time travel movies. Yeah, I have no problem with it. Same for you, Cliff.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Oh, you don't have a veto anyway.
I've already.
So,
yeah.
Yep. That's true. Yeah. So it's on there. Number 4, 12 Monkeys. Boom. Well, down to my last pick. I feel like I'm being taken advantage of here because Jordan knows I'm going to pick this freaking movie. I'm sure, and otherwise he would have picked it. Like I know that. I know that you. I wish you would have just picked it there, so then I could pick something else.
I know that you do,
but you also know that I would pick it, and I think I'd put this number 1. Like
recognized game.
I appreciate that. That's fine. The idea knowing I knew in my heart that if I wasn't here, it would still make the list. So Cliff has no idea. That's another thing about it. Cliff has not seen this movie. I'd say like 99% chance Cliff has not seen this movie. And
no, I know what you're going to say, and I have not seen it.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Oh,
I
my
bet
God.
It's hanging on your wall.
It is hanging on the wall in my living room.
I knew it.
Good job. That's good. 1998, Buffalo 66.
What is this? Is this a shifter car? You think that's funny? I'm used to luxury cars. I drive cars that shift themselves. My cars shift themselves. I need you to come to my parents' house with me and pretend to be my wife.
Did Billy ever tell you how we met? Billy's the nicest husband in the whole world.
Don't touch me.
What do you mean, don't touch me? You're supposed to be husband and wife. No, really. I'm the luckiest girl.
What did you say? 1, 2, 3, get out of the car.
I fell madly in love with him.
I haven't won a championship since 1966. And I missed that game because that's the day I had Billy.
Did you like Buffalo too?
If you fail to convince the court, then very evil and very bad things are going to happen.
You go to jail or something? Yeah, but he was innocent.
Remember that guy Wood?
No good.
I'd really like to find him.
You still gonna do that bad thing you said you were gonna do?
He missed that field goal on purpose. He got paid money, and he missed it on purpose.
Until somebody turn up the heat.
Where's the girl?
I'm his wife.
Oh! She's not my wife. What did I just tell you?
I'm not looking, just imagining.
I picked her up hitchhiking. I'm a free guy, that's not my style.
These photos are us in love, spanning time. Just look like you like me. That's it. Can you do that?
Come here and give me a hug.
Ooh.
I know what you're thinking. The story's hard to believe, right?
You should have seen him. He was so beautiful.
Vincent Gallo directed and starred in this. Christina Ricci as Layla. Ben Gazzara. He made our list of musical performances, which I think it was my number 1 favorite one. But Billy Brown just got out of jail and he's going to serve some real time. He's going home, and it's just the quirkiest coming home story. Blew my mind. Like I didn't know what I was in for when I watched this movie. It is one of the most quotable movies I've ever seen. Like, he says so many things in there. Every time I get my picture taken, I'm spanning time. Like it's stuck in there. I can't even eat chicken. No, but I just like driving shifter cars. Nobody does that anymore, but I love this movie to death. It's so fun. He's so funny and neurotic in it, and she's so so cute in the movie, and I like their characters together, and just like
she
just
has a glow about her.
Yeah, they do that on purpose, and
literally an angel.
It worked. It is that 100%. When Ben Gazzara fake sings that song over himself singing the song, like it's a weird thing. She is literally glowing in that room. Like it's amazing. The way it's shot when they sit around the dinner table, like the perspectives of each person, it's just like it's funny and just neat how it was shot. And it's all based around what in the football game in '66 where the Buffalo guy like missed the field goal or something. I don't even remember, but it's just like it.
Yeah.
He lost a bet or something, ruined his life, and they still watch the game at his parents' house.
And I read today it was filmed on film stock, similar to what they used for the NFL film reels of the 1960s. Like, he wanted it to look like old NFL game film with that high color saturation and the contrast of the colors.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think when I did my top 100 movies of all time, it was number 4 or 5. I don't know. It means that much to me. Like I love it. So
when I first saw it, I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know what it was. I just rented it. And I was like, what is this? And it's the more times you watch it, you get on its wavelength, and you pick out the quotable lines, and yeah, it's something else.
Yeah, it's a religion. It's like, yeah, you return to that when you return to that movie, it's like, oh yeah, this was genius. All these lines, like the way they interact and how the performance he gives is like he was made for this exact thing, and he did it. So I had to get that on there, so I'm happy. So sounds like Jordan won't veto it and Cliff can't. So we're moving on to the number 2 pick. This is Cliff's.
Wow. Yeah, so I think I've mentioned this before when we've done these types of lists, these shows, with this format. And how I typically do it is when one of us spouts out an idea, I immediately, I don't look at any list. I immediately, whatever comes to the top of my head, I jot it down. And typically, whatever that first movie is going to be my top pick immediately. I mean, I understand there's vetoes and stuff like that, but whatever the highest pick I get, that's probably going to be that first movie I jotted down.
And no matter how much you try and think of new stuff or look at lists, like nothing ever quite
right. Yeah. Exactly. It's a gut instinct. So number 2, my pick for number 2 is
I don't have any guess in the world what this is.
Me either.
No clue, huh?
Oh, I do. I have one maybe. But I'll tell you if I'm wrong. But
I would.
I do have one guess too, but it probably is this. But I'm curious. Yeah, go ahead.
I would describe.
Oh no, it's what I know what I think it is.
Okay.
It's got 2 sets of numbers on it.
No.
Oh, okay.
I would describe this movie by one word: infamous.
Wow, the infamous? Infamous?
It's the 3 Amigos.
Yeah, that's what I thought a minute ago. That's what I was going to say. That was the one. And then I thought of something. Then I thought he was going to say something else that I don't want to say yet.
Yeah. So this, of course, Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, Martin Short.
That's right! The Three Amigos. They were the biggest stars of their day.
The Three Amigos are history.
But that was yesterday.
Look, boys, I know show business. Something always turns up. Telegram from the Three Amigos.
Come with me where moonbeams paint the sky. Who are you?
The Three Amigos!
I like this guy. They're funny guys. Just kill one of them. Steve Martin. Chevy Chase.
Do you have anything besides Mexican food?
Martin Short. The Three Amigos.
Throw down your gun! Not you, Dusty! Sorry!
You're so brave.
Three Amigos.
I'll come back one day.
Why?
They play these old black and white movies, silent picture movie stars that they're idiots. And, they're just property of a Hollywood studio, and that's where they get all their stuff from and all of their money. And when they are seen as obsolete and grown up and too old and washed up, they are thrown out and forced to find something else. And they get a letter, I believe, maybe a telegram from this little town, this little village down in Mexico, just praising them, and they automatically think, hey, we're stars down there. We can go down there and live the high life. And just to come to find out that the people in that town think that they are real cowboys and real heroes and want them to come down and defend them against El Guapo and his gang of Mexican outlaws. And they have to teach the town how to defend themselves in this big mix-up after they finally figure out that, hey, they think we're really heroes. But it's silly. And I always, generally like silly. And I love Steve Martin and Martin Short and Chevy Chase, of course. And when this movie came out, I think in 86. 86. John Landis directed it. I went and saw it. My parents took me to the theater, and I thought it was just one of the funniest things I'd ever seen. Of course, totally over the top, and they sing and dance, and it's a classic for me.
Yeah, and during that preamble, I was looking at my list of honorable mentions. I was like, that one shined out. I was like, yeah, that's probably the one he's gonna pick. So definitely a very Cliff pick. Can't fault
extremely
that.
Cliff pick. It's not too Cliff. There's some picks that are too Cliff, and I was afraid he was gonna say something else. Really surprised that this one movie isn't on there. Didn't make your list.
Well,
okay.
It was a tough decision, let me tell you, because I've got some pretty strong feelings about a couple of these, but that I still have left. And I thought I thought if you were going to veto one, I thought that would be the one that got knocked off, and I would have to come up with something else.
I haven't seen it in ages, but as a kid I remember loving it to death. So
I was never one of my. It was never one of my favorite of their movies. Like there's certain ones you just gravitate to. This one I like fine, but it was never one of my favorites. I've only seen it a couple times. I remember it well. I've seen enough times it was on TV flipping past it, but yeah, it's fine. I will not veto it because I'm scared of what else could go in its place.
Wow. Okay.
It's basically what it is. You literally have me scared to death. I think I know what Jordan would put here at number 1, which is what we're at.
You might have a good guess. It's a lot like Three Amigos. Pretty similar plot.
I like it already.
Yeah.
It's the original Three Amigos. 7 Samurai.
Yeah. I knew it.
私は島田官兵衛と申します。実は死体あって連達の死を求めて近く脳死相手に一戦後だっての是非もない百姓の頼みでな難しい戦があるんだがついてくるか今度こそ死ぬかもしれんぞ守るのは攻むるより難しいでな戦とはそういうものだ人を守ってこそ自分も守れる己のことばかり考える奴は己をも滅ぼす奴だこれは戦遊びとは違うでな
This is my favorite film of all time. If I ever did get around to making a top 10 list, it would be number 1. I adore this movie. 1954, Akira Kurosawa's masterpiece. Basically like the first action film, the first modern action film. And it did so many things that maybe a movie had done previously, but it had never done all of them together. And it basically became a type of story and influenced. Three Amigos stole from Seven Samurai, as did hundreds of other things we all love. Those elements like the assembling the team trope of getting a bunch of heroes together from Star Wars to the Avengers to everything else after that. The men on a mission trope, the Dirty Dozen, anything like that. You know, there's some objective we have to do. We all got to get together and do it. The reluctant hero, just all these ideas coalesced in this first big epic. At the time, it was the most expensive film made in Japan. He refused to shoot it at the Toho Studios and had to build the complete set out in the boonies somewhere to make it look authentic, like a village. Took a year to shoot, tons of reshoots. That they ran out of money multiple times, but they finally got it put together. 3.5 hours long, but there's nothing you would cut out of it. Every frame works, and he used so many creative things for the first time. The telephoto lens, to get a close up. To put you right in the middle of the action, these big fight scenes. He recorded these action scenes with multiple cameras at the same time, which wasn't really done at that point because he didn't, he wanted to capture every angle of everything. So he had multiple choices to use. And so everything matched up. The slow motion that he used, the sharp editing, the sound design, just ahead of its time in every respect. And like I said, launched a million things from the Magnificent Seven to everything after that has borrowed from it. There are very few perfect movies, but I think this is one of them. Seven Samurai.
Wow, Cliff. How do you argue with that?
Yeah.
It's his favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
It's the perfect movie.
And he got it at number 1. Like it's
you ever seen it, Cliff?
Oh, have I ever seen it? I don't think I have. I know all about it, but I don't think I've actually seen it. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even decide that. It's there's a in 1586, there's a village of farmers that are being plagued by these bandits who come every harvest to steal their crops. And so they hire 7 protectors to protect them. Toshiro Mifune, Takashi Shimura, and 5 other dudes.
Yeah. I definitely, after I made my list, went looking through some other lists and had seen this, and I thought, oh, Jordan will definitely pick this. Pretty high up on his list. And yeah, that's what I expected. So,
yep. Well, I got to tell you, it's not a veto.
I'm out of my list. Is pretty sparse.
Yeah, I feel like you just went a little too hard there with saving that 7 Samurai. Should have got so. It just doesn't feel that Ka-Pow to me.
I would have went with the same I did go with the same basic strategy, like when you hold something so high, you got to get it up there as far as you can.
Oh.
But I don't have any vetoes. And I don't have any veto overrides, and I went with them.
Did he take it personally when I vetoed Kill Bill?
Yes.
This is where we find out if he took it personally.
Pretty much. That's pretty much that's what I'm saying. Pretty.
And would I take it personally and just submarine this whole list?
Well, I think there's other good movies out there. Maybe it's not your favorite, but you'd be maybe forced into a position to find something.
Oh man, I know some Disney classics.
I'm gonna use it. I'm using it. Veto.
Wow.
You're gonna be mad at me then.
I don't think so. I got my revenge.
All right, so there are very few perfect movies, and none of them are on this list.
I beg to differ. Buffalo 66 is on here. 2001: A Space Odyssey. 25th.
Four Christmases.
4 Christmases. Yeah.
He's thinking.
I literally have crossed off most of my list here. And you really don't want me to say 300. Zack Snyder, the Snyder Bros cannot be appeased by this.
I'm not gonna lie, it was on my list.
So literally the only thing left I have is fairly recent biopic, 42.
Wow, you don't like any other number movies?
No.
No. Okay. All right.
42.
You called down the thunder.
Hey, do what you got to do.
42, the Jackie Robinson story starring Chadwick Boseman.
Saw it. I did see this movie.
I don't know who he is or where he is, but he's coming.
The world's not so simple anymore. I guess it never was. We ignored it. Now we can't.
Brooklyn, we go hard.
You Jackie Robinson?
We go hard.
I father, I Brooklyn Dodger them. I jack, I rob, I sin. Oh man, I'm Jackie Robinson. Except when I run base, I dodge the pen.
guts to fight back?
No, I want a player who's got the guts not to fight back.
You give me a uniform. You give me a number on my back. I'll give you the guts.
So is this rank on, in like as in a sports movie? Is this pretty high at the top for you? 42?
No.
No. Okay.
I just didn't have anything else to pick. No.
Okay.
Wow, that would be pretty weak.
No, I really like this movie.
Yeah.
I don't like it as much as anything else I've said tonight, but it's Harrison Ford.
Yep.
Directed by Brian Helgeland. Just a very touching movie about, a very important American story. Jackie Robinson, and again, played by Chadwick Boseman, an actor who can really embody the nobility that Jackie had and the pains that he went through breaking the color barrier in baseball. So I've seen it several times. I've liked it every single time.
Yeah, I've seen it. I like it. As far as
I haven't seen it.
Especially recent baseball movies. I don't feel like there's been much in the last decade or so on the way we grew up on a lot of those baseball films. There hasn't been much to talk about since. So.
And pure number. There's not even a word in the title. It's just
there isn't. That's the ultimate thing it has going for it. It's nothing but a number.
That's true.
What's a movie? Is there a movie that just has one single digit number as the title? Like a number, like numeral?
7.
1, 2, 3,
7.
4. Oh, well, no, that's still spelled out. Yep. All right. We did it. There you go.
It's a list. Oh, wow.
A list no one's happy with. Perfect.
So, Jordan, that pretty much rounded out your list, right? You don't really have much
I mean,
else?
I wrote down a bunch of things I just thought of. Apollo 13, 28 Days Later. I mean, I just made a long list, but that was my top. The ones I had ranked as far as really liking.
I have quite a few I feel like need mentioning a little bit on this podcast. So I'm just going to kind of try and quickly run through them. Movie I just rewatched. I had not seen since I was a kid. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Classic 1954 Walt Disney production. Of course, based on the novel, Jules Verne. Captain Nemo and his submarine, the Nautilus. I feel like it was a very well-made movie, and they spent a whole bunch of money. I mean, 1954, right? Like this, they had some bigger stars in it. They got, oh crap, hold on. Let me run through it real quick. Oh, we got Kirk Douglas, of course, Peter Lorre, and then James Mason, Captain Nemo. That's what I was trying to think of. But yeah, it's good classic movie. One of the ones I kind of came to mind pretty quickly for me. I don't know if either of you guys ever seen 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
Way back in the day.
Okay. Oh yeah. When I was a kid.
Yeah. So.
Hell yeah.
Other Disney movies, The Three Caballeros, that's, Mexican Donald. We love him. More recently, Big Hero 6, which I don't think either one of you have seen, but,
saw that one.
Okay.
I liked it.
Yeah, I really like it. It's
I heard like most people I know that have seen it said they liked it. I have not seen it.
Team of superheroes. It's got a pretty tragic story with death and loss.
Yeah, I took my little nephew to see it.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting the
yeah. All of the
dying.
Sadness. Yes. Yeah, a lot of emotion there, but everybody loved Baymax when he came out, and just recently in Disneyland they have a giant Baymax now that flies over the castle during the fireworks, which is pretty cool. So yeah, classic Disney. How could we not talk about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? The first feature animated film that won all those Academy Awards, and is definitely the classic of classics. And then I'll be real honest with you, if you guys had vetoed Three Amigos, my next choice would have been 101 Dalmatians, the original.
Oh, that would have been
1961.
Yeah.
I've still got a veto left.
This is just a great.
I thought you were going to say 13 going on 30. That's why I didn't veto you.
Yeah, my wife and daughter definitely both had that on their list, but I had already gotten it on a previous list, so I wasn't going to push that. But yeah, 101 Dalmatians, the classic animated feature that gave us Cruella de Vil and that great song, and actually has connections to Lady and the Tramp. Some of the dogs are in both movies. If you didn't know that, but yeah, that would have been my number 2 on the list pick. Had you vetoed that. Some other ones we mentioned 300 briefly. I just remember 300 going to the theater with some friends and watching that and just being blown away, because I didn't know what I was going to go see, and just that the look of that movie was just amazing at that time and blew me away. Another Barnes family favorite, 21 Jump Street. This was the movie, the reboot of the classic television series. It's just extremely funny, and I can't help myself, but we laugh every time that movie's on. And then This Is 40, another Apatow movie. I was kind of teetering between This Is 40 and The 40-Year-Old Virgin a little bit, because it's just a really good movie. It's a different movie. It's not, it's a comedy, but it
gets some hate. Like there's people out there that there's something people don't like about that, but I always liked it.
Yeah, I something about that movie. I don't know. We just relate to it a little bit. We talked about Star Wars.
Well, we were probably around 40 when.
Yes,
I don't know what year it came out, but we're all hovering around that age there.
Right. So, we mentioned Star Wars and not choosing Star Wars, but guys, Rogue One.
Rogue One, yeah. Why didn't you have that? What happened?
I had a lot of movies on my list, guys.
Rogue One. You had 4 Christmases.
Yeah.
I got you.
But yeah, Rogue
It
One,
happens. Trust me, there's still movies there.
That has become a comfort movie for me.
It grows on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you get away from the immediate, what am I going to get? What am I going to get? And then maybe it wasn't exactly what people thought they were going to get. I definitely usually can return to something like that. Now that I know what it is, I can appreciate it.
Yeah. And it gave us the probably the best Darth Vader scene we ever had, maybe. So at least action wise. What else? 50 First Dates, Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore. Just a rom-com, but again, that's a movie that we watch. Like, what's on television? Oh, I can't find anything. There it is, and somebody's going to turn it on in my household every time. It's a sweet little movie. Anything else? Oh, of course. How could we forget the 80s classic 3 Men and a Baby? Steve Guttenberg, Tom Selleck, and of course Ted Danson. 3 dudes and there's a baby, and I really
3
like
dudes and there's a baby.
Yeah.
Never improved on that formula.
New York City.
The little lady.
You
What
know,
about the little lady?
No, the little lady wasn't as good as the baby. I like the baby. I like the baby version.
We'll have to see the baby.
Yeah. So yeah, I just always really, I was a kid and I always really liked that movie because I don't know, I like singing and dancing a little bit in my movies, and they sang and it was sweet, and 3 bachelors that get stuck with this kid and don't have the first clue of what to do and get themselves in all kinds of trouble.
Right.
Men taking care of babies.
Well, I didn't make a enormous list, but I had a few things left here. I thought I'd take a shot. Jordan might reach down and grab. I didn't sound like he had much left that he loved, and I don't have anything against Seven Samurai. I just was taking a shot at getting. I had enough things out there that I thought he might reach for. Down on my list, there's always Ocean's 11, fun movie. Blade Runner 2049, I really like. We kind of got the drift. We weren't going to do a sequel with T2, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Otherwise, that could have been number 1. A few that I thought had a chance: 7, Hateful Eight, 12 Angry Men, or The Sixth Sense. All big movies with numbers in the title.
I thought if there were 2 movies I would have said you would have picked, it was Buffalo 66 and The Hateful Eight.
Yeah, I almost did it instead of 8mm. Like those were the 2 I was flipping through at that spot. That's basically all I have. There's millions of them out there.
Yeah, I just tucked a few down at the bottom here, just things I thought of that I didn't necessarily love, but 8 Mile, 12 Years a Slave, THX 1138, 500 Days of Summer, Super 8, Passenger 57, 48 Hours, 9 to 5, Apollo 13, 28 Days Later, District 9, 3 Kings, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and Fahrenheit 9/11, the Michael Moore documentary about George Bush.
There's a lot out there.
I liked this topic.
It's random enough that there's a lot of stuff out there. Let me read the list down here. So at number 11, at 25th Hour, I picked the number 10, 2001, A Space Odyssey. Then Cliff came back with 4 Christmases, a family fun, nostalgic classic for them. Then at number 8, 40-Year-Old Virgin, classic comedy. Jordan, number 7, The Fifth Element, sci-fi goodness. At 6, I picked Kill Bill Volume 1 and got vetoed, and then went with 8mm, the gritty crime drama. Then at top 5, Cliff had 16 Candles, John Hughes classic comedy. Jordan came back at number 4, picked Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels, which Cliff vetoed. And Jordan went with 12 Monkeys, great time travel movie. Then 3, I picked Buffalo 66, one of my faves. And Cliff had 3 Amigos, 80s comedy. And Jordan came back with 7 Samurai, his favorite movie of all time. And I vetoed him coldly in hopes he'd pick a random movie I liked. And he came back with 42, which I'm going to have to watch. If it's better than all those movies he listed, this is a good docu. It's about Jackie Robinson.
It was better than all those movies.
Well, I mean, you say you liked it better than those. You ranked it. Is 42. So I'm going to check it out. And that was the numbers list. We do this every once in a while.
So it appears Seth was vetoed once. I was vetoed twice. Or 3. I had 3 picks, was vetoed twice. Cliff had no vetoes whatsoever.
Cliff
escaped this list clean.
Cliff is a scary wild card because what he rides that line where
he'll come back even.
Yeah.
Right. Even I've altered the plan. Play I don't alter it further. Right. He's like, he picks stuff early that's sketchy, and we're like, that's too early to veto. And then he picks stuff sketchy late. We're like, it's too late to veto because he only gets sketchier, So
I likes what I likes.
Yeah. Anyway, we did it.
There we go. Numbers. They add up.
They add
hope
up.
You got the number. That's not a saying. Yeah, that's it. That's our list. Tell us what we did wrong. Tell us what we forgot. We'd love to hear your picks as well. And we'll be back soon with more. My name is Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. Bye forever.
Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast @gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, join our Patreon at patreon.com/udownwithkpp for special content and access to Patreon-only benefits. We are grateful for anyone who chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will remain free. So please continue to like, comment, and share.